If you shift your beliefs, you shift your entire world. You don't need to give every resource that you have available to you out there. You don't need to rescue anyone or anything. Your reality changes right here. You are the observer of your thoughts. You are the observer of the things you choose to believe. And in that observation, you also are the chooser. You get to decide what your world looks like. Your entire reality is based off of what you're thinking and feeling and your energetic frequency as a result of those thoughts and emotions. So, what are you seeing in the world? Are you seeing lack, poverty? Are you seeing a world that seems to be falling apart? Are you seeing inflation? Are you seeing systems crumbling? Or are you seeing the abundance that's available to us? Are you seeing the prosperity? Are you seeing the possibility? You get to decide. So, what's it going to be? This episode is all about our thoughts, our beliefs, how we can shift them, and how we can choose to prosper every single day. I'll see you inside. Absolutely every single experience that we have in our life is a direct reflection of what's happening in our own minds and in our own hearts. And so if you don't like what you see, you get to change what you're thinking and what you're feeling. And if you love what you see, then you get to amplify for more. This is why it's so important that we are paying attention to the things we're consuming, the things we're watching, the people we surround ourselves with, the amount of energy we give to certain thoughts and certain beliefs. This is why it's so important for me that I always work with a mentor, that I'm always surrounded by communities who are uplifting, that I'm always making sure that I'm surrounding myself with people who are either in the same energetic frequency or one step further so that I can always be expanding and growing. Because I'm always looking to change my experience and take it higher. And that doesn't mean that you can't, hang out with Uncle Bob. It doesn't mean that you can't hang out with any of your friends and family anymore because they're negative or they have things going on in their life. It doesn't mean that you can't work with your clients because they've got things that they're working through. But it is the most energy that you expend. So if you're spending all your time maybe listening to low vibrational music, watching TV that's full of drama, you're hanging out with friends who are constantly complaining that they don't have any money and that they're broke and they can't afford things, and you're not working with a mentor, you're going to have challenges with your financial picture and all sorts of other challenges. It's so important that we surround ourselves with people and with experiences and with things that we admire or strive for. Because if everything's a mirror, then if we can see it, it means that it's then available to us. So I'm currently working with a 7-figure business coach. Why? Not because I'm so adamant that I need to make 7 figures, but because I can now see that that is possible for me. And so, whatever it is that you want to experience, maybe you want to experience a better relationship, higher communication in your relationships. Maybe you want to experience deeper connection with your clients. Maybe you want to experience magical visibility. Maybe you want to experience a deeper connection and relationship with social media so that you can use it to your advantage. Maybe you want a better relationship with yourself. Whatever that is, you need to be able to see it in order to shift your reality, because the seeing it means it's possible for you. So this is why, they say the 5 people you surround yourself with the most are a direct reflection of what's happening in your internal world. This is why they say, when you see something that you admire in someone else, then it serves to remind you that it's available to you. Now, you get to choose who you hang out with. You get to choose what you consume. You get to choose what you're paying attention to. And obviously, you are paying attention to this podcast. So, yay, right? But it's so important that we have people that are leading the way, paving the path. It's not that we're going to listen to absolutely everything that they say and give them this guru energy. Dear Lord, do not put me on a pedestal. I don't have all the answers. But if you're inspired, if you're motivated, if you can learn something, isn't that the most incredible thing? That's what's so beautiful about this world and how everything is a mirror. So if you look out into your experience and you see people talking about how broke they are and they can't afford things and talking about the economy and inflation and all this stuff, then it might be a good idea to surround yourself with mentors and people who are inspiring and talking about abundance and prosperity and thriving versus surviving. People who are talking about how when good people make a lot of money, they do good things in the world. People that are mirroring back to you the abundance that's available in this world. So if you don't have someone like that in your world, well, I welcome you to follow me. I also welcome you to book a call with me if you are ready, if you're ready for mentorship and you are tired of being surrounded by people who are not supportive of an abundant lifestyle. What do you believe about money? We all have stories around money, what money does in the world, what money is in the world. We have stories that we were taught by our parents, by our teachers. We have generational stories. We have past life stories. There's all this stuff around money. And it is a matter of fact that money is required in this 3D world. It's how we survive. It's how we pay for bills. It's how we get food. It's how we do anything. And it doesn't mean that money is evil. It doesn't mean that money has a personality. It doesn't mean that money is anything but what you decide it is. So you can decide based on past programming and what you want to believe. You could decide that money is evil and money doesn't grow on trees and money has all these other stories to it. Or you could simply decide that money is your friend. And money is here to support you, and money is here to help you live a full, extraordinary life. You could decide that you love money and money loves you. And in that energy does not make you a bad person. We have so much programming around money, and money is literally feedback for what you believe, what you think, and how you're contributing in the world. That's it. And so I always come back to the abundance when I look out in nature. When I look out in nature, I see an abundance of flowers, of bees, of birds. I see the abundance of grass, blades of grass on the lawn. I see the abundance that is available everywhere. And I see the river flowing. And I think, wow, what would it be like to just jump in that flow, to jump in the river of prosperity? Instead of living in the pond scum of mediocrity. To me, it's all about our perspective of how we see abundance and prosperity in the world. And so what do you see? Because remember, everything is a mirror. Every experience we have is a mirror. So if you look out into the world and you see nothing but people struggling, poverty, homeless, you name it, people struggling to get food. If that's all you see, then there is something going on with your prosperity story that could use a little polishing. If you look out into the world and you see incredible people doing incredible things with their money, if you see people moving money out into the world in ways that uplift, that help, that support, then you've got a great story. Right? So think about it. If you just think, what comes to mind when you think of wealthy people, when you see somebody who's driving a fancy car or has a large house or, is paying for a fancy meal or pays for everybody to have dinner together. What is the first thought that goes through your mind in that? I know for myself, I used to judge left, right, and center. I would see giant houses, and my immediate thought was, who needs a house that big? Who's going to clean that house? There was a list of judgments that would pop into my head in the moment that I saw those things. Who are you to need a house that big? Right? Well, I know for sure in the community that I live in, there are these massive houses and there are families living in these houses. It's not just for one person. There are groups of families all living together in these houses. So what's wrong with that? Why not have a big house and a big family? And you've got plenty of room for everybody to have their space, and they probably all contribute to clean the house, right? We can change our beliefs. We can change our story around money in any given moment. And it all comes down to the relationship that you want to have with money. Do you want to love money? Do you want to play with money? Do you want to move money out into the world in positive ways that contribute to the betterment of society? Do you want to make sure that you've got the finances available for your children, for whatever might come up in your life? Do you want to make sure that you live an extraordinary life, that you get to fulfill your dreams? Money is not the root of all evil. Money never did anything to anybody. You get to decide how you experience your relationship with money. You get to decide if you are here to take up space and live to your absolute fullest, or if you're going to play small and hide because you have this belief that money isn't here to support you. Money is not a personality. Money is neither good nor bad. Money is neutral. And it is the meaning that you give it that causes either all the problems or all the abundance. So which one's it going to be for you? Your thoughts are literally dictating your entire experience. And the thing to remember is you are not your thoughts. I think we get caught up in this idea that our brain is the ruler of all rulers. And when a thought comes in, it must be true. But the way that the brain works is we see something in our external reality, and thoughts are just energetic debris that are flying around. And we grab a hold of one because of feedback that we've seen in the environment. And we give that thought meaning. And the moment we give the thought meaning, it drives hormones into our body, creating an emotional experience. And then it creates this cycle, and around and around and around we go. So if you see something happen in the world where maybe you're not very happy about it, maybe you see somebody who's really suffering and homeless and deep in poverty, and you immediately give that thought meaning of, oh, maybe, if it's because of inflation, because of the economy, and our government is being screwy, and you immediately drop these hormones into your body of fight, flight. And you immediately shrink pieces of your body so you can literally no longer function. You've got tiny little arms and a tiny little brain. You can't make decisions. I always refer to this as our T-Rex brain. And then we go around and around and around, and we start perpetuating this thought. We start speaking these words, and our vibrational frequency shrinks as a result, which means we play small, and then we go and create our reality from that place, which means we make less money, and our experience is one of more poverty and more lack of. Now, we are the observer of our thoughts. This is the beauty of being a human. These thoughts are just energetic debris. You could see the same thing happen where you run into somebody who is homeless and deep in poverty, and a thought comes in that says, oh man, it must be because of the government or inflation or whatever else, the housing crisis. And you could say, no, I don't choose that thought. I choose to believe that there is something else here that I'm not seeing. What if this homeless person has chosen to be homeless? I know a lot of people who've chosen that lifestyle. What if there's something else going on with this person where, maybe they're almost not homeless. Maybe they've got a house that's already available and they're just waiting for it to become, maybe they're just waiting for the first of the month, right? You get to choose whatever story you want to write. But the important piece is paying attention to our thoughts, observing the thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You become your thoughts when you choose them, and they create an emotional experience. And you get to choose which thoughts you're thinking. So thoughts are coming and going all day long. I think they say the average human experiences 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And I believe that they say most of those thoughts aren't ones that serve us. And so we must become powerful observers of our thought. Does this thought serve me? Does this thought help me move towards my extraordinary dream? Or does this thought make me play small? Does this thought hinder me? Does this thought hold me back? We have this idea of, well, I've got a limiting belief. Possibly, but you get to choose to change your belief in any moment. You don't have to spend years in therapy or unraveling or healing. You don't need to go into past lives and change everything. You can decide right here, right now, to choose a different thought. You can choose to have an extraordinary experience simply by saying to those thoughts that hinder you, not today, not today. I choose differently. So my question for you today is, what beliefs could you let go of? Just let them go. Like the song from Frozen, let it go, let it go. What beliefs could you let go of in order to create more extraordinary circumstances for yourself? Everything is a mirror. And when you're looking out into the world and you see the possibility and the abundance and the play and the thriving, then that is available within you. If you look out into the world and you see the poverty and the war and all the other things, then that is also available within you. And you get to decide which one you're going to think of most. That doesn't mean that you just go out into the world with blinders on and pretend that all of this stuff isn't happening. We don't deny that that's possible and that's there. We're not going to pretend that the world isn't worlding. But we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to think about it. The more of us who focus on prosperity, abundance, thriving, contribution, value, the more we start to mirror that to everyone else in the world. And so what thoughts are you thinking? What thoughts are you choosing? And how are you choosing to experience your extraordinary life?